YouTube, so that way you can have a recording. I'll show you how to access my YouTube channel momentarily. And I think I have to do some settings because originally I was under the impression that this was going to record in Zoom. Then it dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute. I think that recording was a different. Oh, so the audio. Let me think about this. I might have to switch my audio. Okay. I might have to abandon that. Let me take this. And then disconnects. Okay. Then let me check one other thing because I kind of changed my settings a little bit, so it's throwing things off a little bit. If I go here, and if I go to my notifications, there it is. Is that the one? Yes. Okay, I know the audio is working. That's good enough for me. So let me just suppress this. And I'm going to go with this. Okay. All right. So we'll just kind of work with this. Let me check one more time. Yeah, okay, it's working. So, okay, so I'll give you the details. I'll give you the details that are needed so that you can. You guys able to see my screen? Yeah, I think so. What is that? That's Zoom. Okay. That's YouTube. Okay, I got you. Let me just pick one. I'll go with this one. That's fine. Okay. All right. So let's see. So again, I'm Mr. Pfeiffer. My email is firstname.lastname at Morehouse. You found my Zoom, and we meet Monday and Wednesdays from 9 to 9:50. So let me see. So this course has an online component. It's called Alex. That's going to be run by Dr. Lamar. So if we hop back over to Blackboard, right here, on the left-hand panel, it says Online Alex Lab, syllabus in Zoom. So for the lab component, you're going to use that second link there. That'll connect you with Dr. Lamar. If you have any questions about the lab, you got to contact Dr. Lamar because she's running the lab. And basically, my understanding of the way that Alex works is like it gives you supplemental content. Like when you should have taken like a placement exam, or you might have to take another one. Whatever she kind of tells you to do, that's what you need to do. And basically, any area that you're deficient in, it's going to give you custom content to strengthen whatever you're weak in. And she'll give you the details on all of that. But basically, you follow her instructions. And whatever grade she gives me for each of you, I'm going to scale it so that I think it's like 10% of your overall grade, right? So whatever grade she gives you, that's going to count for 10% of your overall grade. So the highest, that'll affect your grade by 10 points overall, right? So we meet Monday and Wednesdays from 9 to 9:50. We talked about the online lab and how to find it. The course runs from August 16th through December 8th. And we're going to be meeting via Zoom here, right? So that's the Zoom information. Again, the QR code may or may not work, but the meeting ID is what you need. My office hours are going to be Mondays and Wednesdays right after this class, right? So from 10 to 12 for 2 hours, right? On Monday and Wednesdays. And other times by appointment, and there's my email. Yeah. So when it comes to my email, if you have questions about anything or if you need help, emailing is the best thing because that way at least the conversation is on file. Now, I may or may not respond promptly. If I don't respond promptly, then just ask me at our next class, right? So next time we are at these live sessions, just ask me during class. And so the main structure of our course, with this being remote asynchronous, I already have full lectures, like pre-recorded full lectures for anything that I would say. Like if we were actually doing a regular lecture, all the stuff that I would say during the lecture is already recorded. I'll show you how to access that momentarily. So I do expect you to watch those lectures on your own. They're basically on my YouTube channel. If you were just searching for my YouTube, the YouTube is called Beautiful Mind Pfeiffer. And then there's going to be a playlist for College Algebra 1, Morehouse, all 4 lectures. But again, I have links for these. I'll show you how to access them momentarily. Once you find my YouTube, it's definitely a good idea to go ahead and, shameless plug, but go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. That's the main way I communicate with all my students universally, right? And you'll find some other Easter eggs in there. I'm a gamer, right? It's not an official gaming channel, but I definitely have like gaming content on there. Just different matches. You might see me cussing and fussing at the strangers. You know, these aren't people I know. These are all strangers. So I'm relying on them to do stuff, and they don't do their job. We lose, and I'm competitive. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, so I'll show you how to access my YouTube momentarily. Let me see. There are 2 types of people in this world: those that believe they can and those that believe they cannot. Both are correct. Which one are you? All right. So whatever you believe, as far as that goes, you're absolutely right. Okay. So prerequisite for this course is the placement exam or a C or better in. It's not Prep Math 2. It might be Prep Math 2. Like intermediate algebra. I think they may have removed all those kind of courses. So we have this, I think that we start with College Algebra 1, and then we have like this online lab to kind of supplement deficiencies anyway. So the learning objectives, you can kind of go through there on your own. We're going to be going through like how to construct graphs and identify intercepts and slopes of a linear function, recognize graphs and attributes of functions, including domain, range, and things of this nature. You know, all this kind of content, right? So you can read through that along with the topics. And here's another piece of vital information. So this is the grading rationale, right? So for instance, I kind of color coded it to kind of simplify it a little bit. If you did not have the lab component, then your grade would be based on the purple, right? So as far as you and I are concerned, I'm going to be calculating your grade based on the purple part. So for instance, your homework, which you're going to access through My Math Lab, is 10%. Your quizzes and classwork is 10%. Your test is 60%, and the final is 20%, right? So all of this content, homework, quizzes, and exams, all of this stuff is located on My Math Lab. I'll show you how to access that momentarily. One thing about My Math Lab, you are required to purchase full access, but we got an email in the night that said, have your students hold off on purchasing full access to My Math Lab because I think Morehouse is supposed to they're working out some kind of deal as far as the cost of these materials. In the past, it was so much easier. Once upon a time, we were part of this program that's called Include Ed program, where somebody in the waiting room. Let's see here, chat, participants. I think you guys are okay. I don't know which one is the host. Hopefully. Let me check this real quick. Let me just check. Oh, sure. Let me let him in. I need to check and see if he got attendance. Okay, he got his attendance. Okay. That's fine. This is fine. Okay. So yeah, once upon a time, Morehouse was participating in this Include Ed program where basically your materials, like your books and things, were included in your tuition. I thought that was a fantastic move. It made things so much easier for everybody. But they, for whatever reasons, discontinued that program. So again, like I said, in the night, we got an email saying, encourage the students to sign up for temporary access. I'll show you how to sign up for temporary access momentarily. So just, the temporary access will give you 14 days of access. And that way you can go ahead and get started. And, because that gives, and it'll buy Morehouse 2 weeks to hammer out details on a reduced price for access to My Math Lab. Right. So once I calculate your grade, I'm going to scale it so that our component is 90% of your overall grade and 10% comes from the lab with Dr. Moore. Hey, come here. Thanks. Thank you. Come on. Come here. Come on. Thank you. You've been quiet all morning and then you wait for me to start class and start singing. I need you to just chill for 20 minutes. Can you give me 20 minutes, please? Thank you.
Morehouse?
Okay. Yeah. So 90% of our grade comes from what we do together. And then 10% comes from the lab. So as we kind of have these sessions, if anything is not clear, feel free to either unmute yourself to get my attention and we can talk about it. Morehouse. Or 2, feel free to type it in the chat. I do check the chat periodically to make sure that it's working properly, or like, just to kind of answer questions and things of that nature. Let me close this and put it back. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. So grading rationale, grading scale, basically 90s are A's, 80s are B's, 70s are C's. Officially passing a course at Morehouse is going to be a C. So for us, you need to make at least a 70. Some programs will let you move forward with the D, but many will not. So if you fall in that D range, hopefully, idealistically, we can keep as many people away from that D and F range as possible. How do we purchase the lab? So that's coming. I'll show you that in just a moment. Let me try to get through this, and that will be answered in just a few minutes. Yes, I did take attendance. I take attendance as I let you guys in, so that was part of why we delay. I was taking attendance for people in the waiting room, and then so when I let you guys in, that means I had you on my roster, and I think we cleared up everybody as far as the roster concerned. I think there was a name change, and then we got to the bottom of that. Yep, no worries. So this is a 2-credit course, so that is actually important, right? So I think Morehouse has a policy as well as far as attendance is concerned. We allowed as many unexcused absences as there are credit hours in the course, right? So because this is a 2-credit course, you're allowed up to 2 unexcused absences. Once you hit that 3rd unexcused absence, then it's like, okay, now you could potentially be booted from the course. It could affect your money. You might have trouble getting back in. It could really mess up your money, right? And waste your time. So the best thing is just to make sure, the way you get your attendance credit is just by getting into my Zoom. Because again, I take attendance as I let you all into the Zoom one by one. So as long as you get in my Zoom on Mondays and Wednesdays to start a class, you've gotten your attendance credit. Again, just to kind of reiterate, this is a remote asynchronous. We do still meet during the scheduled times, but most of the learning is done on your own. Definitely in like some of my other classes, students have started like a group meet. I think that's a fantastic idea. So I don't know if in the chat somebody wants to get that going or not, but I think a group meet and you guys work together and collaborate, each one teach one kind of thing. I think that's a fantastic move. But again, most of the learning is done on your own. And the intent is for you to watch my pre-recorded lectures on your own time, take notes as if you're in class, use that as a baseline to navigate the homework on my math lab. And then that way, during class, we can use class time as just like a Q&A or a study session. That frees us up for this little bit of 50 minutes that we get together, and we can either go on work on homework together or answer questions from quizzes or exams, or we can just go through the regular lecture. Like typically, if there aren't questions, I'll just go cover some content that's related to whatever the current topic is, right? But again, most of the learning is done on your own, and class time is really intended to be like an unofficial office hours or a Q&A session. Okay. Hopefully we're all aboard, and we're not all bored. I'm getting ready to answer some more questions. Let's see. I think this is the official schedule, right? So like the first week is only section 1.1, right? So and this homework is already posted on my math lab. So I'll show you how to access that in just a moment. You definitely want to go ahead and gain that temporary access, which gives you 14 days of access. And it's also a good idea to have your funds like kind of off to the side and waiting and ready to go. Originally it cost about $120 to purchase full access to Pearson. But again, if you just give us like a couple of days, I think Morehouse is working out some kind of deal to get that cost reduced. They're working out some kind of deal with Pearson. So I'll show you how to access the 14 days of temporary access. And so, but basically each week we're going through one section. You can anticipate homework for each section, one quiz for each section. And then I think we have like 3 exams and a final, right? I think that's how it goes. And then there's also a lab component. Again, you have to contact Dr. Lamar for those details on the lab. So the homework is assigned for each section on a weekly basis. And actually your homework is already assigned for the entire semester. I think I went on to make your quizzes available as well. So once you find my full lectures and you feel confident, you can either watch the lectures or just go ahead and do the homework. And honestly, you can go ahead and do the homework for the entire semester, but I staggered the release of the exams. So if you finish your homework early, then you would only be waiting on the exams, right? So, and that's how you learn, is basically by doing the homework. It's through practice and repetition. Practice makes what? Practice makes what? Hopefully you're not going to say perfect, right? Practice makes improvement. Practice makes improvement. If practice make perfect, then we would never have to practice again. And what happens when we stop practicing?
Morehouse?
He'll have to find it. When we stop practicing, our skill level goes down. Our skill level goes down, right? So practice makes improvement, right? And the way, and what basically whatever we do the longest, we do the strongest. Whatever we practice, we get really, really good at. For instance, I'm guilty of practicing complaining, so I'm really good at complaining. It took me a long time to realize, on the surface, complaining can be kind of futile and like pointless. But then I realized that complaining about something or things that irritate me or frustrate me means that that's just something that needs my attention. And until I give it the necessary attention, it's going to keep disrupting my flow. All right. So it took me a while to realize, but those things is saying, hey, it just needs some attention. Right. So again, there'll be 3 exams and a final. As far as the makeup policy, so all assignments. So this is the way I have my stuff structured in my math lab. All assignments you get unlimited attempts. Assignments are due on a weekly basis. All assignments have a natural extension already built into them, right? So it sounds too good to be true, but I only do this because everybody doesn't like blow this out of the water, right? To me, it's kind of like a gimme or a free free grab or whatever, but everybody is not a free grab for everybody. So, I leave it like this. So that means that with the homework, quizzes, and exams, you get unlimited attempts. The system is set to take your highest score. With the exams, you'll see something a little bit different. You don't see your score until you complete the exam. So if you get a score and you don't like it, you can always improve it. But if you're submitting something late, the highest it's a 10% late penalty. So the highest you can earn on anything submitted late is 90%, right? So if you're trying to earn over 90%, you got to submit it on time. So you don't have to ask for an extension. It's kind of inherent in the way I built it. It's just for the sake of simplicity for everybody. It's something I'm comfortable with. That's how we move forward with that. I kind of want to pause for the cause. Hopefully we're all aboard and we're not all bored. Again, if you have questions about anything, feel free to either unmute yourself. How does the lab work? Are there scheduled times? So you'd have to contact Dr. Lamar. If you go to Blackboard on the left-hand panel, the second item, it says Online Alex Lab. You want to click that and contact Dr. Lamar, and she can answer those questions because she runs her lab a little bit different than the way I run this portion. So she has those details, Dr. Lamar. So we talked about the makeup policy with all assignments having a natural inherent extension built into them. So with this course running to about that first week of December, that means the hard deadline is that Friday during the week of finals. Now in the spring, our final exam was a departmental or comprehensive final exam. It was a comprehensive departmental final exam. And so what that means is that the final was created by the department and it was actually on paper. But I was in person for that group. I can't speak on the final just yet at this moment. I got to contact my supervisor, the chair, and see how they're going to do that. It's still, we'll see how that goes. So, but there will be a final. So that was a little bit different there. A few holidays to mention. We have the Labor Day holiday, which is September 4th on a Monday. So I think because we meet on Mondays, that does affect us. So we're not going to be meeting that day. There's a fall break on Monday and Tuesday, October 2nd. I can't lie. I'm not going to lie. I am totally enjoying being a professor. I get all of these holidays all the time. Now, the next level for me is to get full-time work. Because when I was working full-time, I was getting paid summers off. I was like, I was going on adventures. I was in Costa Rica. I was everywhere, because like everything is already paid. I don't see how you access the online lab. The online lab, again, on the left-hand panel, you want to click on that Online Alex Lab, click on that link there on the burgundy bar. It should give you the contact for Dr. Lamar. And that's how you do that. Now, we haven't talked about how to access the homework and quizzes just yet. That's coming up. So just kind of wait to the end. But yeah, so as an adult teaching at the collegiate level, I get all of these like paid time off. It's like when I talk, where I might take a hit as far as finances go, the amount of money, but I actually make more money per time worked. Like I don't work nearly as hard like as everybody else. Like my family and friends, like they get maybe 2 weeks off out of the 52-week year. I be getting like 2 and 3 months off paid at a time. That's full time though. But yeah, so we get a lot of these holidays off and things of that nature. So that's a lot of fun. But so yeah, you can see the holidays here. Fall break with withdrawal. The last day to withdraw is Monday, October 23rd, right? So with a W. After that, I think if you try to withdraw, it might be a WF. There might be some other options there if you feel up against the wall and you need support. So we can talk about it. We also have the Thanksgiving holiday, and the last day of class is November 29th. Final exams run through December, basically that first full week of December. So December 8th, that Friday, and the best thing is just that you want to have everything done by Friday, December 8th. So that's the hard deadline. So even though all assignments have a natural extension built into them, the hard deadline for all assignments is that Friday, December 8th. That's the best thing. If you can just make sure to get your stuff submitted by that date, you're good to go. Again, as far as attendance, with this being a 2-credit course, we're allowed up to 2 unexcused absences. Once we hit that 3rd unexcused absence, then we potentially could be dropped from the course. The main thing is, as long as you're emailing me in communication and we kind of work something out, I won't let attendance be an issue. I'll probably mark you as excused or something. Text. I'm not sure what that was. It looks like that's something. We'll check it later. But yeah, the main thing is that as long as you're in communication, we can typically work something out. As long as the student is like submitting their documents, their assignments in a timely manner, and they make an effort and they show that they're really trying to finish this course, I usually don't let attendance be an issue. But the simple thing is just be here, get your attendance credit. I usually don't pressure you guys to be too involved too much, right? So you can kind of be a little bit lax. Just be careful. Just make sure you're doing what you need to do. Ask for help if you need help, if you're struggling, or if you feel like you need any kind of support. You have a crap ton of support between me, Pearson and the online resources. Alex and Dr. Lamar is a valuable resource. You've already paid for tutors, the tutoring service is included in your tuition. And then you have your classmates, right? Between like the group me and working together. So that's at least 5 different sources that are really powerful, and so you're not in it alone. A lot of times you could take this content and sit down with the tutor and say, hey, can we work on this together? And a lot of times they're just waiting for you guys to show up. You've already paid them. They're paid through your tuition, and they're just waiting for you to show up and ask questions. Disability services, if you need special accommodations, you can either call that number. I think there might be an email or something in that text. I don't see it, but you can call that number and speak with a specialist, and they'll give you a letter that you can give to me like via email, and we can make sure that you get accommodations that you need. With this being a remote course, it's okay. Just use what you need to use to kind of get your stuff submitted. But it is important that, you submit your own work, right? Like you actually learn it. Because like, for instance, if you like got somebody else to do all the work for you and you don't learn anything, then you're basically wasting your time and money. Because you can get credit for this, but I can assure you this is going to pop up again. Like a lot of times what happens with my students that leave the course, they were like, oh, finally, I'm done with math. I never had to look at math again. And they graduate from Morehouse and then leave, and then they get into their first job, like it's a legit job, right? It's legit, like real money that you can actually take care of yourself with. And the first thing that they give them in the interview is a math test. So if you don't learn anything from this experience, you're wasting your time. Like you're wasting your time because you're not going to have any support when they go to give you that math test. And I acknowledge that everybody's not a mathematician. If it were up to me, I would not have the general populace doing this. This is for like people that are willing to like slow down, think about stuff. And I would totally revamp the structure of education. I have people focus on whatever it is that they want to study. Instead of, the way it's kind of structured now, I feel like it intentionally tries to make people feel lesser than they really are. A lot of times these institutions try to make you like, it's kind of a lot of hubris and ego. And like, they try to make you feel lesser, like as a weeding out process, where in reality, if that person was in the right environment with the the right structure and the right nurture, being nurtured or whatever, they're actually geniuses. That happens like all the time. But if you get shut down and you're not cultivated, you're never given a chance to like flourish and prosper and, step into your genius, then, that's a lost talent. Right. So if it were up to me, I would just almost like an apprenticeship or something where people can go ahead and focus on whatever it is they want to focus on. But for right now, the structure is what it is. So we have to make do with what we have. So yeah, the cheating and plagiarism does not serve you. There are other stories that are worse than what I mentioned. But, for the sake of time, we're going to let that be. So what this is last page is a document saying that you've gone through the syllabus, you understand what's expected of you out of the course, and that you'll abide by the rules of the course. Honestly, you can just fill this out and keep this on file. I don't really have a place for you to submit it right now. Please do not email me this because it'll flood my emails. So you can just keep it on file for now, and it should suffice. Now, there's some other piece of information that we kind of need to talk about. Let me go back to the home page. So this is the landing page for Blackboard. And when we open up that main link, so this is how to access the Zoom. Again, I'm not sure if the QR code should work. I haven't really changed anything. It may or may not. But you can also just use the meeting ID. And again, I'm kind of preaching to the choir because you guys are already in my Zoom. So, you know how to find me. Okay, so here's important piece of information. So when we start going through like the lectures, you're going to see me writing on the screen. To get a PDF copy of our lectures, you're going to find it in this item number 2 that says Daily PowerPoint Lecture Slides. So when you click on that, it's going to open up Box, and that's where I'm going to drop PDFs for the lectures. Yeah, that'll suffice for now. And then so for my math lab is right here. Item number 3 are assignments. So if we open up that third folder or the third item, and you'll have this kind of menu pop up, then so to access my math lab, you're going to go ahead and click here. The first item where it says all assignments, you click on that. Now yours is going to look different than mine for right now because you more than likely need to register. Let me say this. So if you've used my math lab in the past and it's the exact same book and you had full access, you do not have to purchase access again, right? You should be able to just log in with your old credentials and you can go ahead and get started on this stuff right away. So let me repeat that. If you've used my math lab before, I think because I definitely saw some names I recognized. So I don't know if you guys are coming from like pre-cal and coming back or, there's some other things that could be going on. But even if it weren't me, if you've used my math lab before and it's the exact same book, again, we use this book for 3 different classes: College Algebra 1, College Algebra 2, and Pre-Calculus. You can just log in with your old credentials and you should have full access. Now, if you have not had full access to Pearson in the past and it's prompting you for payment, on that page where it prompts you for payment at the bottom of the screen, there should be a link that says get 14 days of temporary access. You want to go ahead and click on that. So it'll give you full access for the next 14 days. It's a good idea to go ahead and have about $120 set to the side. So that way, because basically the negotiation between Morehouse and Pearson, they have 14 days to settle whatever, because they're trying to work out a discounted price so you guys don't have to pay $120. But in case they don't finish within the 14 days, you can purchase at the end of the trial run, you can go ahead and just purchase the full access and keep moving with your work. There's no pause or interruption in your flow, right? So again, to access my math lab from once you open up the folder, from Blackboard and item number 3, all assignments, you open that up and you click on the first link. Once you click on that first link on My Math Lab, all assignments, on the page that you're prompted for payment at the bottom of the screen, there should be a link that says get 14 days of temporary access. All right, so you want to use that, go ahead and get your 14 days of temporary access. And you definitely want to go ahead and get started on these assignments. For instance, if we look at week 1 covers section 1.1. is due the 20th, which should be, this is upcoming Monday, right? So it is a little bit skewed, but again, these have an automatic extension built into them. I know today is our first day, but generally I made all assignments due on Mondays. That's the simple thing. What if you don't have a Pearson account? So you'd have to create, right? You want to use your Morehouse credentials, like your Morehouse email, register as a student. And then again, on the page where you're prompted for payment, make sure to use go ahead and use the get 14 days of temporary access. It'll give you full access for the next 14 days, and you can go ahead and get started on these assignments. Because we do have some assignments that's due this upcoming Monday at midnight. Is that Monday? That might be Sunday. That might even be Sunday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's Sunday night, actually. Sunday night at midnight, right? So I made assignments due Sunday nights at midnight. So you definitely want to go ahead and get started there. There's a couple of other things I need to bring to your attention. All right. So we know how to get into the Zoom. We know how to access the PDFs of any kind of written material. We know how to access my math lab. And lastly, here's a link to my YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and click on that link. And this is College Algebra 1. And that link should take you directly into a playlist that has a recording of all of my lectures for the entire semester, right? So this is from the fall of 2001. Well, the orientation is. So that first video. Yeah, so
Morehouse.
I'm sure it's the QR code, but I'm not going to worry about it for right now. They even might be in the waiting room right now. But when you're late, like after that 15-minute mark, I tend to miss the students, right? So if you're trying to get your attendance, you definitely want to be in the waiting room anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes before the start of class. I usually do one wave, like right at the start of class at 9 o'clock. And then I'll kind of ignore the waiting room, and then I'll try to check it again around the 15-minute mark. So there's a second wave of students that usually do around the 15-minute mark. After that second wave, you're lucky if you get attendance credit or if you get into the session or whatever. But that's also why I try to record. So if you miss, you can at least catch the recording. That's orientation from a couple of years ago. But so basically what I did, I went and made a dedicated video for each section and made a playlist, right? So these are all the sections for the entire semester. These are lectures of the a full recording of the entire lecture. So anything that I would want to say in person, I've already recorded it. It's here, and you can go section by section, take notes as if you're in class. And then you can actually, you have the lectures, you have access to all the lectures. You have access to all the homework shy of the exam. So I just got another question. Is there a course ID? There is no course ID. The way you access my math lab, you have to click on this folder number 3, and then the first item in that folder. You have to access it through Blackboard, right? You have to access it through Blackboard. Let me check the chat really quickly because we're just about at that time. So there is a group me. I think it's a great idea for you guys to work together. Hopefully we answered the questions. Yeah, I don't really see any others that we missed. I did take attendance. We talked about pausing on purchasing full access. Okay. Are there any other burning questions before we go our separate ways? Any other burning questions? If there aren't any burning questions, let me see. Can somebody send a link to the group me? So it should be in the chat. You might want to definitely go ahead and pull that link because I think once I end the Zoom, I don't know if you're going to be able to access the chat or not. Is there a way to test out of the lab? For that, I would either totally digging in my nose. You guys got a lot of questions. Let me hop over here. For the lab, if you want to try to test out of the lab, I would ask Dr. Lamar about that. Either Dr. Lamar or the math department.
Morehouse?
Do we log in with our Morehouse credentials or make a new account? If you're talking about Pearson, if you already have an account with Pearson, you want to log in with that one. If you don't have an account with Pearson, you want to create one using your Morehouse credentials. Let me see. So there's an invitation for the group me. We need any textbooks for this class. Okay, we're kind of out of time, but so that's one of the reasons why we use Pearson, because Pearson comes with a digital textbook. So as long as you have your device with power and an internet connection, you can access the book. The main thing is getting full access to Pearson. It comes with a digital textbook. So you don't need a physical hard copy book. You can get one if that's your preference, but all homework, quizzes, and exam, everything's submitted via Pearson. Will we need any textbook? So what happens after the 14-day? So yeah, with the 14-day trial, that's why I was saying you might want to have the money, at least $120 set to the side. It shouldn't cost you. Hopefully we can get that cost reduced below 120. But in case they don't finish their negotiations within the 14 days, then you want to just go ahead and purchase the full access. And so you can continue working. Suppose you don't purchase the full access at the end of the 14 days, you'll be locked. You won't be able to use my math lab, but it'll save all your work until you do purchase full access, right? Okay, so that was that one. These are good questions. Are there any other burning questions before we go our separate ways? So a quick recap of the pertinent information. You guys made it to the Zoom, so we're going to be using this same Zoom link every time we meet. Be sure to just, as long as you get into the Zoom at each session, that means you've gotten your attendance credit within that 15-minute mark. So finding the Zoom is critical. You found my YouTube with the full copies of the pre-recorded lectures. And then the other piece that's really important is go ahead and get started on your assignments on My Math Lab. Right now, you want to, if you don't already have full access, you want to get the 14-day trial and go ahead and get started on your assignments. Let me talk about the schedule for the exams. So I want to say the exams occur every 4 weeks, right? So week 4, week 8, week 12, and then week 16. Those are the exam weeks. Yeah, that's the long and short there. Okay. Any other burning questions? So I'm going to be starting my office hours in about 10 minutes or so. If there aren't any burning questions, we're going to go ahead and end the session here. And from one beautiful mind to another, have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday.
Yeah.
Take care. Yes, Mr. Muhammad.
Can you hear me or not?
Try it again with audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So you said for the syllabus at the bottom, what's the due date for that? And that's it for me.
Just you talking about that thing, that form that you fill out at the end?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just keep that on file. I don't have a place for you to return it in.
Okay.
Just right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I was just wanting to let you know I sent the email at like 9:00 because I was the one struggling to get in.
Okay.
How do you?
Let me see. Let me just check something really quickly. This is Mr. Miller. Let me make sure I've gotten your attendance credit. Like today, I'm kind of like, because I know it's kind of like a little bit of a struggle today. Yeah, I just gave you credit, so I'm glad you brought that to my attention.
Thank you. I had to use my personal email to get in and put my Morehouse as my username.
Morehouse?
All right, thank you.
Excuse me, I had a question as well.
Yes.
Are there any assignments in Math Lab that are due next class?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Waiting room.
I have one more question, Professor. I'm sorry.
Give me just a moment, because I see some people that finally found it, and I just want to make sure.
No problem.
There he is. Okay, cool. All right. Give me just a moment. Hold the question for just a moment. I just want to mention something to these. Okay. So if I just let 3 gentlemen in. I think it was Mr. Abdul, Norrington, and there was one other. But if you're just joining us, I went on and gave you credit. I do acknowledge that, it's the first class and it can be kind of a challenge. I'm pretty sure I might have like a QR code wrong somewhere and it might take you somewhere else. So, but you did make it in. We're still here. So if you're in the Zoom now, I went on and gave you credit. So you don't have to worry about that. I just wanted you to be aware of that. And I know someone else had a question now, so the floor is yours. It's okay.
Yeah, that was me. For the Pearson, I don't see the option where it says do the 14 days. It just says to pay the fee.
Is it at the very bottom, like a blue link? It's something that says get 14 days of temporary access.
The very bottom.
I don't know if you're able to, but
Oh
you want to
yeah,
try.
yeah. I see at the bottom. It's real small at the bottom.
Yeah, real small at the bottom. Exactly. Yeah, that's okay. Cool. Any other questions? Going once, going twice.
I have a question.
Yes.
So do you have any notes from this class for those of us who had struggles getting on to this meeting link, so that we can at least stay caught up with how to, get what books to get and stuff like that?
Yes, so that's a great question. I'm glad you said that. Okay, so you should still be able to see my screen. I'm going to go ahead and log into Blackboard. And when you log into Blackboard, is it here? Here it is. Come on. Oh, I'm zooming in. There it is. Okay. So when you log into Blackboard, it should look like this, right? You log into Blackboard and you'll see this. You open up this folder, right? And so basically, long story short, I live streamed this session to my YouTube channel, right? So to access my YouTube channel, when you log into Blackboard and you open up the folder, that item number 4, it says Beautiful Mind Pfeiffer's YouTube channel. Go ahead and click on that link. You can find today's recording in there. Now, this link takes us to like a playlist for all our lectures for the semester. This doesn't take you directly to today's recording. Let me see if I can go ahead and make that available. But you can find it on my YouTube. So if you go to my YouTube, if you go like to the live sessions, you'll see today's recording. I'm trying to think. I might make another playlist for this term. But yeah, if you go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube, shameless plug, subscribe to my YouTube and turn your notifications on, you can find a copy of today's presentation on my YouTube channel. It should just be like the latest video or whatever. And then so you can watch what we talked about together, follow the prompts. And then this link basically is a recording of all the lectures for the semester. So between what we talked about today, along with this playlist here, you can do everything you need to do.
And excuse me, sir, how do you access the Pearson?
Pearson, okay. So if item number 4 is my YouTube channel, which you guys need to subscribe to, because again, that's how I communicate with everybody, all my students universally. I also have some other like Easter egg content in there. I'm a gamer as well, so you'll find me playing games in there too. But the Pearson is going to be item number 3 where it says assignments. So if we click on item number 3 where it says assignments, open that up. And then item number 1 where it says My Math Lab All Assignments, you want to click on that. And so for right now, in the night, we got an email from the chair. He was saying, have the students get the temporary access because we're trying to hammer out we're trying to negotiate a deal with Pearson to reduce the cost. So if you click on that first link that says all assignments, there's a couple of things. If you've used Pearson before and it's the exact same book, first of all, if you've used Pearson before, go ahead and just log in with your old credentials, right? If you've used Pearson before and you've used the exact same book, then you already have full access. Like you don't have to purchase full access again. We use this same book for 3 different classes. So if you've used Pearson with this exact same book, you can just use your old login credentials and you should have full access and you're ready to go. If this is your first time using Pearson, you click on that link, you follow the prompts, you want to register as a student and go ahead and set it up using your Morehouse credentials. So like your Morehouse email and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully that stuff should be operational. And then on the page where you're prompted for payment, at the bottom of the page in small print is going to say get 14 days of temporary access. Get the temporary access for right now. That'll give you full access for the next 14 days. And that'll buy Morehouse some time so that they can try to reduce the price. And also it's a good idea to put about $140 to $130 off to the side somewhere. So that way, when that 14-day trial is up, you'll have the money to purchase the full access. It should cost less than $120, but just in case, the old price was $120. So you want to have that off to the side, ready to use whenever this stuff within the next 2 weeks. Hopefully that answers the question.
And professor, for the my fault. And for
You
the
could,
homework, you said that we could do the homework not right now, but we could do the homework in like all of it in like a week, whatever.
well,
So,
it's available. So I went on and made all the homework for the semester available and all the quizzes for the semester available. The only thing that's staggered, that's scheduled for staggered release, is our exams, right? So the exams, I think they're staggered to release like every 4 weeks. So week number 4 is an exam. You can access it for 7 days for full credit. All assignments have an inherent extension built into them, so you can submit anything late. But the highest you can earn on a late assignment is a 90%, 10% late. Also, if you're joining us late, again, it's definitely a good idea for you to go back and watch the recording from today. So you have to kind of search by YouTube to find that, but you can find the recording from today. Because this group also has a lab component, right? So the lab, to access the lab from Blackboard on the left-hand panel, that second link that says Online Alex Lab, Syllabus and Zoom, you want to open that up and contact Dr. Lamar. She facilitates the lab, and that's going to serve as 10% of your overall grade. So you want to, for me, you're doing the homework through my math lab. But then the 10% component, lab component, is run by Dr. Lamar via Alex. So that's a whole separate thing. Right?
And do you recommend doing the homework right now or do it like throughout the week?
It's not a bad idea to try to get as far ahead as you can, because the lectures for those corresponding assignments are already available. Like that YouTube link that you saw. So you can actually watch that lecture, take notes as if you're in class, and you can actually go ahead and get started on those assignments. If it were me, I would try to finish this stuff as soon as possible. So like the sooner you finish that stuff, the less you have to do on the back end. Because once we hit like midterm, and especially as we start going into the final, all your classes are going to be expecting you to have like projects and all this other stuff. So if you want to try to have good time management, idealistically, you want to try to finish these assignments as soon as possible. Okay. You can even take this content and sit down with the tutors and say, hey, can we work on this together?
And where do we find the tutors at? Are they on campus or online or something?
They have a remote ability. I would contact the mathematics department chair. I don't know if they've officially been set up yet, like already, but I know it's usually pretty rapidly. The tutoring is included in your tuition, so you've already paid for it. I would contact the math office, try to contact the chair. He usually organizes that.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you can go ahead and the sooner you can kind of knock this stuff out, the easier, the better for everybody.
All right, last question. Where do I find the mathematics chair for conferencing? What building?
Are you on campus?
I am.
So you can go to like Dansby. It should be the 3rd floor of Dansby.
3rd floor.
Like I think it's like 308, and that's the math office, and you say, hey, I just wanted to talk to the chair about the tutoring service.
You said 304?
308, I think.
308.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I think that's all for me. Have a good day.
All right, I got a question.
Yes.
Where do we find the homework, and what book do we need?
I didn't hear your second question.
Oh, so what books do we need?
Okay, so the homework is in folder item number 3 where it says assignments. So if we open up the item number 3, that takes us to my math lab, and we're going to be there, that first link. This also comes with an e-text. So, we kind of talked about, to my math lab, but it comes with a digital textbook, so you don't need a physical hard copy book. You just want to go ahead and get access to my math lab. But before you do that, it's probably a good idea to like watch the recording from today. You want to go to my now this link here at the bottom. That takes you to a playlist for the lectures. You might have to kind of search on my YouTube channel for today's recording.
So all I gotta do is just sign into Pearson, and then I'll have access to all the assignments.
Well, it's a little nuanced in that you have to purchase full access, but that's why I was trying to get you to watch the recording, because we're encouraging students to get the 14 days of temporary access because Morehouse is trying to like hammer out, negotiate a reduced price deal with Pearson. Okay. So So on the page where you're prompted for payment, at the bottom of that screen, it should say get 14 days of temporary access. You want to go ahead and get the 14-day temporary access and set about $130 if you can. Set it off to the side. We're trying to get the price reduced so that way within the 14 days, you know, if we just somehow go to the end of that 14 days, you'll have the money to purchase full access. If you don't gain full access by the end of the 14 days, then you'll still have your work, but it's going to lock you out. So you won't be able to use my math lab, but it's just going to save your work until you get full access. If that makes sense. And we already have assignments. We have some assignments that are due on this upcoming Monday that are there right now.
I'm currently like making an account for the Pearson thing.
That's fine. So yeah, you should come to a page. It's going to ask you for payment. At the bottom of that page, just to say get 14 days. Are there any other questions, comments, and concerns?
All right, so
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I joined the class later because I was on.
It's okay.
You hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, with the being day, I acknowledge that, like, you know, it's the first day. So let me just see. Olutayo?
Yeah.
How do I pronounce your name?
Coyote Umuteo. Like Coyote.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my last name. Yeah.
Is that like what's the nation of origin?
Nigerian.
Ah, that's what I was about to say. I knew it. I should have gone.
Nigerian.
I didn't
Yeah.
misarticulate or whatever. Homework. So yeah, you got credit. Yeah, you got your attendance credit. I already had it, but yeah.
Okay, thanks. But also, how do I sign into the Pearson? Is that like that's the only way I can access the homework?
Yeah, through Blackboard.
Blackboard.
Right. So back over to Blackboard. So a good place to start is my YouTube channel. You definitely want to go ahead and the link for my YouTube is item number 4. That'll do a recording of the full lectures for the semester. It doesn't have to find today's recording. You have to kind of search my specific YouTube channel, and you'll see like today's session there. But for the other full lectures, that's what this playlist is. And so once you subscribe to my YouTube with your notifications turned on, you can. I would encourage you to watch today's recording. So you have to kind of search a little bit within my YouTube to find it. And you know, you can see all the things that we missed, that you may have missed. And then I think you asked about the Pearson or homework or something. It's going to be here in folder number 3, which are assignments. So, but you definitely want to kind of watch the recording and follow along with the recording.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So I can sign in from Pearson by just pressing the 3 assignments.
Yeah, if you click on assignments,
and
click on the first link. But you definitely want to start with my recording because there's some more information there. Right there, you might shortchange yourself. So I'm gonna kind of go through the recording.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? So this is fine because this is like my office hours. So you know, if you guys have, if there are any questions, I'm going to do a quick reboot. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, guys. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and officially end this session here. And from one beautiful mind to another, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back on in just a few minutes for office hours.
All right. Thank you. You too.